This week on Ignition, we drive one of the most surprisingly capable cars on the road today. You know, with all this frankly well-deserved hubbub about the Subaru BRZ, it's almost easy to forget about the car that initially created the Subaru enthusiast. It's quite a bit different than the BRZ, although it still had two doors. It was turbocharged, it was all-wheel drive, and it was rugged as hell. It was the Subaru WRX STi. You know, today there's nothing quite like the STi. I mean, sure, you could argue that its Evo is the main competitor, but even that car in recent years has morphed into something completely different. It's more of a track car, and while it's brilliant on the track, all the compromises it makes to be brilliant sort of make the car worse on the road. Now, this STi is a bit slower, frankly, but it's also a bit more interesting. I mean, this is a performance-oriented hatchback with a 305 horsepower turbocharged flat 4, 6-speed manual, tons of cargo space, and it's genuinely fun to drive. I'd argue that for the money, there's nothing quite like this car. So an acceleration run in the Subaru STi is a little bit more difficult than most. We don't have launch control, we have a 6-speed manual and a clutch, so we got to do it the old-fashioned way. We have a turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive, so that means we have a ton of grip, but not a lot of power. And what power we do have comes on pretty high in the RPM range. So that means we have to use a lot of clutch slip to get this thing out of the hole quickly. So I dial in about 5,000 RPM, slip the clutch, get a lot of front chirp from the tires. It does get out of the hole really quickly. You'll hit 60 in about 4.7 seconds, and that's about on pace with the Camaro SS. The top end does flatten out a bit though, but you'll hit the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds, just under 100 miles an hour. Certainly quick by any modern standard. And now we do our 60 to 0 braking test. A little bit of movement, but not bad overall. Our best stop from 60 is 104 feet. Now, as we begin the figure 8 test in the STi, you're reminded that the STi is a very, very capable car, but it goes about handling quite differently than a lot of sports cars. It's a bit clumsier. He kind of likes to be thrown around and treated rough, and it's kind of fun because of that. The thing rotates on throttle beautifully, and it just gives you that slight bit of slip in the chassis. Gives you a little bit more accuracy. It's finding that fine line between throwing it around and treating it nicely that makes it for a fast lap. Doesn't like to slide, but it does like to go fast. You know, there's just an honesty and a humbleness that I find so refreshing with Subarus. I mean, this STi isn't trying to be anything that it's not. I mean, there's no special dash treatment. There's nothing faux luxury. The dash is very honest. The materials simply make the car what it is. And you may think, for near $40,000, shouldn't you have something a bit nicer? Well, let's back up for a bit. I'm gonna make a point here that might be quite controversial, but I think that this car is the junior Porsche Panamera. Stay with me. The similarities, they're both not very attractive. They're both all-wheel drive. You can get both with turbocharged engines. They both seat plenty of people and have a ton of interior space. And they both have quite a bit of cargo space too. To demonstrate just how much stuff this car can hold, we've assembled all the gear we use to film one of these videos, with the exception, of course, being the camera that's filming me right now. We're going to take all this gear and see if we can put it in the back of the STi. Let's do it. Full speed, right? And one of the things I find utterly addicting about the STi is that sort of gravelly mechanical growl this makes when you get on the throttle. It's unique to the brand, and it's sort of a trait that I love, and I find that missing from the BRZ. I also enjoy the fact that this has 4 exhaust pipes. I mean, 4 exhaust pipes, come on, that's just kind of the absurdity that makes this car special. This car is kind of like going out with a rowdy drinking buddy. You know you're going to have a crazy experience. You're going to come home tomorrow with a good story, and maybe a scar too. You know, the best examples of these cars aren't the clean racetrack queens. They aren't the one with the big diffusers and wings and whatnot. They're the hatchbacks. They're the ones covered in dirt and mud and snow. They're the ones with roof racks with bicycles and snowboards and skis on. They're the ones that have the camping gear or the band's musical equipment, the amplifier in the back. Those are the best STIs out there, because those are the ones that see adventure on a regular basis. Those are the ones that actually go everywhere and do everything. So then the problem with this STI that we're driving is that it's much too clean. Let's see if we can fix that. Now that is more like it. And it makes me think that even though Subaru's World Rally team isn't around anymore in any official capacity, that team somehow led to this car. Knowing that makes it a special car to drive, both in the dirt but also on the road. You know, the STi was a car born out of rallying, and that birthplace gives it what Liam Neeson might call a particular set of skills. Those skills make it one of the most outstandingly well-rounded conquer-all cars on the road today. It can do the dirt road, it can do the mountains, it can do the racetrack, it can do the commute, and it can do them all fast.